Hey everyone, Alex Wilson here from Toronto Penthouse Living, and we're here with Jim Ritchie, Executive Vice President of Sales Marketing here at Tridel. And what we want to introduce you today is the turnkey lifestyle that living in a condo can offer, but also, so when you leave your house that you're living in now, you don't have to sacrifice on the size and the luxury and the outdoor space. And we're going to get more into that and what Tridel has to offer, and specifically the Aqualuna and Bayside development. So Jim, let's get into first talking about Tridel and its how long it's been around and its reputation and everything like that.
Well, that's a story I always like to tell because it's, I think we've got an amazing reputation, and certainly in terms of tenure, we've been around quite some time. In fact, the company's roots go back to 1934. So we have a little more than 80 years in the residential development business, and our focus on the condominium side really started in 1968.
Wow.
So we go way back. We've seen an awful lot in terms of residential development, and we love this marketplace.
Wow, that's crazy. And I think in this changing marketplace, that is very, very important in regards to the reputation of the builder. And I think you guys have a 100% success rate, correct?
We think we do, and we understand the importance of that, certainly in larger condominium homes with large values. The customer really wants to be looked after, and we have the wherewithal to deliver the goods, so to speak.
Oh, that's great. You want to focus on the reputation. There's been a lot of negative media these days about projects not going through, and truly not the case with Tridel and its long reputation out there in the market. When people are looking at moving into a new home or a new condo unit, and they're leaving their large house and their fancy finishes. We're actually in the brand new Tridel Decor Center. I get asked the question, well, Alex, like, I want to match what I have in my home, and I don't think a lot of builders can offer that, but is that something that Tridel can offer?
Well, we absolutely can offer that, and that is why this center has just recently been opened, is something that we know that with the customers that are looking for large condominium homes, they really want to be able to customize to their specific needs and their tastes, and we're quite happy to do that. I mean, save and except for moving structure and moving, common mechanical systems that are shared in a building, it's pretty well wide open. We can offer all sorts of advice in that area, or we can work with the client's interior designers and give them exactly what they're looking for.
And that's great, because a lot of these individuals that are looking at these properties, they do want some customization to really make it their new home. And speaking of that, and one thing that Tridel prides itself on is customer service. And you really make it a smooth transition for individuals when they're moving into these buildings. I've been in finished Tridel buildings, and it's like it's a brand new building. I know other buildings, wise, you walk in, it's still a complete construction zone, a complete disaster. That's not what Tridel does.
No, well, and thank you for saying that. But we've coined a phrase in our organization. It's actually our guy that heads up our construction side. He wants hotel ready, so that when we open up a new building, the common areas are virtually complete. We take the construction behind the scenes where our homeowners aren't going to be exposed to it. There's always little things that have to be sorted out one way or another, but we really try that hotel ready concept to have that in play with any of our developments, no matter where they are.
The integration of Tridel. It is truly a fully integrated company, from the actual concept all the way to the finishing of the building, the management of the building after the building's constructed. Why don't you talk about the integration of Tridel?
Well, isn't that interesting you bring that up, because I think most people just assume that if you're building from a condo developer that in fact it is fully integrated, but in most cases it is not. So in our particular shop, we acquire the land, obviously. We take it to its highest and best use in terms of the development process. We are the folks that do the marketing, that do the sales. We oversee all the construction activities. We look after the service of the customer, obviously. And then the management of the building is through a Tridel-related company. Because we care how that works, and anywhere there is a customer touch point, we think that we should be the one that's at the forefront managing it. So I think that gives us a bit of an advantage in the marketplace, that we can control all those aspects of the business.
And I think that really shines through on your ability to offer that high level of customer service, because you know if there's an issue, you know the person to contact.
That's the focus. We are here. When we are established, we're accessible every day of the year. We have a number of different protocols for people to reach us in the event something goes sideways and they need immediate attention. And we're quite proud of the fact that that we do that just as well as anybody in this industry, if not better.
And I think that one line that was told me once, it's not the issue that comes up, it's how the company deals with the issue, or how the issue is resolved, and pull that through with that full integration and high level of customer service, you're really able to touch on that.
I would completely agree with that.
Before I move on, one line that I love going whenever I'm going into the Icon building, one of your older projects in downtown Toronto, I love the line, Tridel built for life, and that's really what Tridel focuses on, which is great, building the building for life.
Well, we came up with that a number of years ago, and we like the idea that it's both for a condominium lifestyle, it's also, it's durable. It's a durable home.
Yep.
The building itself and the product.
And we see that in resale values on Tridel buildings and the brand name that it carries. You just tell people it's Tridel, don't worry about it.
Yeah. I don't have to do anything here. I just have to let
yeah.
You're doing a great job.
No, thank you. Now, and actually one other point, because I'm seeing it all over social media and talking about that integration and the employees that you have here. Like, truly your employees feel like their family, and Tridel treats their employees like family, and there is such a low turnover of the employees as well, which again helps with that continuity with the builder, with the connectivity and everything like that. So it's good to know that as well.
Well, we certainly are a growing organization. The industry has been certainly growing over the last number of years, but we have many, many people in this organization that have been here their entire working career. I'm one example of that.
Yeah, and the rings, the 30-year, the 40-year, those actually exist. There's been people working here that long. Now going into the actual development that we're here to talk about today, and the neighborhood. So first of all, let's talk about the neighborhood and the Bayside community and where that is and what that has to offer.
Well, we think we have a very unique proposition with the Bayside community. It's something that we brought to the marketplace with our partner Hines 5 years ago. And what makes it unique is that it's 13 acres. It's on prime waterfront location. And it's truly a mixed-use community. So we have something that is very, very close to the city. You actually can walk to the city core. It's a bit of a walk, but you can still do that. But it's very close to the city core, and of course, it's waterfront. It has mixed use with retail, obviously the residential condominiums, which have been, the standard bearer, if you will, for the community, and other uses. So the fact is, though, that it represents something else in that it has a very large, high percentage of larger condominium homes that are not available, generally speaking, in the condo marketplace.
And I think I'll touch on the fact that you said it was on the waterfront. When we look around the world, some of the most valuable real estate is real estate that's on the water. Not only on the water in a downtown core. And this is truly, you are still in the core, the downtown core of Toronto, which is the east waterfront side. Now, if anyone watched any of my investment videos on alexjwilson.com, you know that I'm very bullish on the downtown east side of the city. There is exponential development that's happening and going on in this area, and truly the Bayside community is right in the center of it, right on the water. Now, you touched on the larger suites, and I think that's very, very important. When I have clients reach out to me about moving and making this one of their new homes, they say, Alex, this is what I want. I want larger space. I can't live in less than 2,000 square feet. I need outdoor space, and I need views of the water. And I don't want to be potentially in a higher floor. I want a tight-knit community. And that's actually when I bring them to the Bayside community, because one of the unique factors of it and what you were able to do having such a large site is build these larger layouts. have larger outdoor spaces, and because you're the last building, you actually have the waterfront views, and you won't have someone build in front of you, where I can't guarantee that in other areas of the city. So why don't you talk about how you got to the point of building a building that is catered to larger units and the outdoor space, and how you got around to that?
Well, we had, together with our partner Heinz, had a sense 5 years ago that there was a demand for such a product as you described. And we designed the building, our initial Aqualuna building, with a number of larger homes, but it wasn't the most dominant product line in the building. But we very quickly found out in the marketplace that this was a good idea, and we continue to evolve that as we brought out each additional phase at Bayside. So here we are now with our 4th community, and from lessons learned with the previous 3, clearly, as you described it, a larger condominium home, outdoor space with views to the waterfront were certainly very much in demand. So our Aqualuna community has no shortage of that. In fact, we challenged our architect, and in this case we actually had an international competition, and we selected a Danish firm by the name of 3XN, that the concept here to be successful had to be just that. Larger homes, lots of exposure to the water in terms of view corridors, and where possible we had larger outdoor space. They did a magnificent job with that, and clearly in the marketplace it's been successful, with over 70% of the homes now sold in that community.
No, oh, go ahead, sorry.
I'm good.
Oh, so what I wanted to add on to as well, speaking of the architect, people, our friends out there that are design focused, why don't you talk a little bit more about the architecture of the building?
Well, I think this is certainly one of the major drawing cards to the community. We talked about the water, we talked about the large suites, and we certainly talked about these view corridors. But to make it very successful, we came up with this signature design. Certainly, I think that when people see what we're talking about in terms of an architectural expression, will understand that this is something very, very special. And it just complements the location and the product lines that we brought forward.
And speaking about the suites and the larger suites, and I love this, what's your average size suite in the Aqualuna project?
Well, the available product that we have is the average is a little bit over 2,000 square feet. We have some a little bit under that, and we have them ranging, almost to 4,000 square feet. And it seems that in the market that you've described, that 2,000 to 3,000 square foot range seems to be the sweet spot. So we've made sure that we've got plenty of product that would address them.
Which I do truly find, and I was sharing a story with Jim. I sold a unit in the previous phase of this in the Aquabella, and it was an individual living in a 3,000 square foot unit, and they downsized to a 2,600 square foot unit because they wanted the views on the water, they wanted to be on a lower floor, and they wanted the large terrace outdoor space. But I had to laugh when he was concerned about going from 3,000 to 2,600 square feet. But it's great to know that you have that suite size selection for the individual.
And frankly, there are many ways to design 2,600 or 3,000 square feet. You can be more efficient. There's a number of things you can do to improve just that footprint of the suite itself. But that is the typical product. The customers are coming from other condos, as you've described, some that it's a lateral move, many that are moving up in size, from a smaller condominium home. And of course we have that very traditional buyer that's at a point in their life where they do not want to be in the house anymore, and they're looking for that larger condominium home in the city. And those folks are coming from just about anywhere in the GTA, from Oakville, from north of the city, in Richmond Hill or Aurora, various parts of the city where there's larger homes now. So that's the neat thing about being on the waterfront. You tend to attract people and families from different locations, not just that specific area.
And I think the good thing too, and touching on that and speaking of where individuals are coming from, but because it's a predominantly larger suite size in the building, you're going to have a very like-minded individual that's living in the building, predominantly end user, not a lot of renters in the building. So that means the building's going to be well taken care of, and it's really going to create a community space where people feel comfortable to live.
Mm-hmm. Well, we try to do that in any Tridel community. But I think when you have homes that are generally larger, the price points don't always work for an investor buyer, so obviously you tend to get end users as opposed to an investor.
Well, that's great, Jim. Thanks for giving us this insight into Tridel, the Bayside community, specifically the Aqualuna project. And guys, we're going to go head now down to the actual sales center for the project to give you more an in-depth view of the neighborhood and what's going on down there. So follow me. We'll see you guys soon.
Perfect. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks, Jim. Really appreciate it. As discussed with Jim, here's the luxurious model of the Aqualuna building. As you can see, huge terrace spaces, large layouts in the building. So for example, right here, we have the Sky Penthouse facing directly south. This unit is over 4,600 square feet, has 5 terraces for a combined outdoor space of over 1,600 square feet. And with this direct south view, you have a forever view on the water. You are right on the water right there. So now here we are, the full Bayside community in sight, and the final phase, the Aqualuna project. So we see these gorgeous direct south views right on the water, never to be obstructed.